Hello everyone, welcome to Get Us a Geek, and today we'll be carrying on with everything wrong with Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. So, carrying on from last time, how does Harry and Ron not get to Hogwarts before everyone else? They don't have to worry about the train or anything, because that clearly is going slightly slower than the car, as we've just seen.
Now all we need to do is catch up with the train.
We can't be far behind.
Do you hear that?
We must be getting close.
Hold on.
But also, the first years have to get the boat ride over to Hogwarts, as well as everyone else taking the carriage ride there, where them guys, they go straight actually into the grounds, hit into the Whomping Willow, then get bashed out of that. So, how are they there behind everyone else?
See you, Hedwig.
I might have to agree with Snape on something. Harry isn't that smart. When him and Ron can't get through platform 9 3/4, he doesn't automatically think it's Dobby, the only character we've seen so far that says to Harry, "Oh, you don't need to go back to Hogwarts, it's dangerous for you this year." So how is he not putting 2 and 2 together and realising it's probably Dobby who's actually shut the platform from him?
So a house elf shows up in my bedroom. We can't get through the barrier to platform 9 3/4. We almost get killed by a tree. Clearly someone doesn't want me here this year.
When they go to topology class, when Mrs. Sprout takes out the infant mandrake, everyone's like, "Oh my god, this hurts a little bit, ooh."
You'll pull it sharply out of the box!
But then the scene after that, all of them pull out the infant mandrakes, and none of them seem to be affected. They're just like, "Oh yeah, whatever." And also, Malfoy being an idiot, not that we've actually seen him be an idiot before, bearing in mind, he's just like, "Oh yeah, let's just put my finger in it." What? In all honesty, he deserves to be bitten by the mandrake if that's how much of an idiot he's going to be. Professor McGonagall goes to Ron that his wand needs to be replaced because it becomes dangerous.
That wand needs replacing, Mr. Weasley.
You're telling me that a school for witches and wizards don't have a spare wand lying around for incidents like this? Even a slightly insufficient wand to him would be better than a broken one. I know it helps later on, but still, at the moment, why are they not giving him a spare wand? How is Dean Thomas being able to see Errol from that far away? I don't even know how Errol even got into the Great Hall like that, because I'm sure there's no windows up the top. But again, Errol comes down at quite a high speed and he just hits straight into that table. How is this owl still alive? Honestly, he must have some mutant powers or something.
Bloody bird's a menace.
Also, a little side note, for the longest time I thought Mrs. Weasley was shoving her tongue out at the end of the letter, and that's why the howler went like that. When they go into the Defence Against the Dark Arts lesson, Lockhart releases all the pixies, and then they take Neville up and they put him onto the chandelier above. How was he not getting choked at this point? Because, I'm sorry, you can clearly see it's around his neck and it's just like... And he's just there, fine. He's just like, "Yeah, no, I can take this." Maybe Neville has got a little kink that we don't know about. After the scene where Malfoy calls Hermione a mudblood,
No one asked your opinion, you filthy little mudblood.
they go to Hagrid's hut. Now, this is probably one of the biggest things I have with this film. How is Hagrid not allowed to be a dad through all of this? Honestly, we see how fatherly he is to everyone and how good he is as a parent. Even going to the dragon by calling him mummy and stuff like that. I'm sorry, give him a child.
More to the point, they've yet to think of a spell that our Hermione can't do. Come here. Don't you think on it, Hermione. Don't you think on it for 1 minute.
So, we see Mrs. Norris being hung up because she's been petrified by the basilisk. But we find out later that the basilisk is supposed to harm mudbloods. So does this mean that Mrs. Norris is a mudblood and that actually she is a Malumagus and she used to be a witch? So when they go to the library, Hermione just freely puts down the book that has a polyjuice potion in it. I would have thought a book like this that has such a strong potion in it would have to be in a restricted section, because if not, why not more students just pretending to be each other? To be fair, this actually make a quite funny sequel if you end up seeing Malfoy just polyjuicing into a woman that he fancies and being like, oh, look at me. Don't worry, I've got less to say about this second Quidditch match. But how is Mrs. Hooch not stopping the game when it's quite clear one of the bludgers is just following Harry?
Watch yourself, Harry!
Whoa, look out!
And it's like dangerously following him, like breaking through stands and everything like that. Maybe that could be counted as foul play. Maybe that might stop the game. But no. Once again, she will let anything pass. I don't know what else is in that potion book, but Hermione, Ron and Hagrid get back down to the bottom of that field quickish. Like faster than the Flash. Quick.
Let's go.
Harry Potter has caught the snitch!
Gryffindor wins!
Finite incantato!
When Harry's in the hospital wing, he wakes up to what we find out later to be the basilisk whispering in the walls. How is he waking up to this? Because like earlier, he's waking up to like the littlest of noises. Colin Creevey then comes into the hospital wing and we find out he's also been petrified by the basilisk.
Do you know, I think he's been petrified. Madame Pomfrey.
The thing I don't get about this though is that the basilisk is known to kill humans or petrify humans, but it says nothing about media. Like, why can't you take a picture of a basilisk? Surely other pictures have been taken of basilisk before, because otherwise people would never know what it looks like or that they even exist.
What can this mean, Albus?
When Snape agrees to go against Lockhart in this little duel, Snape obviously sends him back with Expelliarmus.
3. Expelliarmus!
The thing they got wrong here is when Lockhart gets sent back, he loses his wand out of the air, but then when he lands, you can see the wand that's in his hand. I mean, Lockhart also wasn't wrong. It was pretty obvious when Snape ended up doing his spell.
Pretty obvious.
Also, Snape is in the same position that Obi-Wan is whenever he duels. Coincidence? I think not.
What?
Expelliarmus! Also, we see Harry use other techniques that he never uses again. Like when he goes against Malfoy and just sends him right back, and it's not Expelliarmus. Why does he not use these against other Death Eaters?
Rictus Emperor!
So when everyone finds out that Harry's a parcel mouth and everyone looks away from him when they're doing studying, why is Ginny looking away? Because she's the one who's actually doing all this, but she's looking away like, oh, I can't associate myself with him. I know it might be because she feels guilty, but the way she's doing it definitely looks like she just doesn't like Harry at that point. Something that is a little bit creepy though, is why is Harry playing with Justin's fingers when he sees that he's been petrified? Don't go and get a teacher, you're just like, oh, let me play. Honestly, he's turned into salad fingers at this point.
I like rusty spoons.
I'm going to finish it here, so make sure you've got that bell checked on so you can see when the last part comes out. But until next time, goodbye.